Welcome to Martha Runs the World, a podcast with a new take on running, fitness, and all things health-oriented. I'm Martha Hughes, your host, and each week I present a new topic that is of interest to all runners. Hi, and welcome to episode 243. Today we're going to talk about running into your golden years. I'm in my early 60s. And when I tell non-runners that I run, they're shocked that I didn't decide to just wither away and fade into the sunset. Yeah, that's not happening. What? They think that I should just do gentle yoga and stroll through the park. Yeah, no. For one thing, I hate yoga and I ain't doing it. For another thing, I don't stroll. I'm a fast walker if I walk at all. Well, I do walk a lot, but I walk very quickly. And I never stroll. I have no patience for strolls. I don't know who strolls. Does anyone stroll anymore at all? Anyway, today I'm going to talk about keeping your running going through most of your elderly years, and just to keep it going and to do it in a healthy and happy way. We all want to keep running, hopefully well into our years. This may mean something different to all of us. As you get older, if you ran a lot when you were younger, you may just want to take it easy. Perhaps you've tackled and completed all the top races you ever wanted to, and now you just want to have fun. Maybe you've never taken running seriously before, or maybe you never ran before and just started running and you want to do as much as possible now. Everyone's different. You have to choose the goals that you want and work towards them. First, let's take a look at some excellent examples of runners who are older and kept running. Now, some of these runners may not, unfortunately, be with us anymore. Some of these runners may have stopped running, but these are some folks who have accomplished some things at some very advanced ages. Betty Jean McHugh, she was age 88 when she ran the Honolulu Marathon in 2016, and she finished with a time of 6 hours, 31 minutes, and 32 seconds. That's incredible. Betty Jean McHugh. Now, it says about Betty Jean is that she finished the Vancouver half marathon in 2 hours and 43 minutes, which is really, really amazing. She did that the year before at age 87. That's so fast. She's always been athletic, it says. And but here's the thing. She began running seriously when she turned 50. So she is an older runner. She started running when she was older, although she's always been athletic. So that helps a lot. Now, the coolest thing about her marathon is that she had suffered a fall. That's not cool. That's unfortunate. Just a few days before, but she participated and she finished with that incredible time. That's really, really cool. Harriet Thompson was age 94 when she finished the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon in 2017. And she finished the half marathon with a time of 3 hours, 42 minutes, and 56 seconds at 94 years old. Harriet ran in the San Diego Rock and Roll Half nearly every year since 99. And it's a tradition that she did with her whole family. She became the oldest female half marathon runner in 2015 at the age of 92, and she completed this one in 2017, which she honestly didn't think was a big deal. Thompson's response isn't surprising, though, considering her strength. She's beaten cancer twice. When asked how she felt about an inspiration for younger runners, she jokingly said, "At least I'm good at something." Now, it's sadly, though, she did pass away a few months later in October 2017 after suffering from a fall. So bless your heart and rest in peace, Harriet. You are amazing and just an incredible runner. And you're still an inspiration. Hansi Rigney, she's run over 100 marathons and ran Boston this year in 2023. And her personal record for a marathon, and she's 81, mind you, she's 81 years old, and her personal record for the marathon is 3 hours and 35 minutes. I could only dream of doing a marathon that fast. That is incredible. Now, Fahar Singh is from India, and he is pretty well known as doing a ton of marathons. I don't know when the last one he did, but he was doing them for a very long time. He's since passed away, but he was running at 102. He did a 10K at a time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 28 seconds at age 102. So Farha Singh attempted to begin his running career in his youth, but it wasn't until 1995 that he revisited this hobby of his youth. And he started really taking running seriously at an older age, and he kept going. That's just so inspirational. Now, in ultra running, older runners are kind of the norm. Past guest of the show, Carol Patterson, has been running a long time, and she keeps on going. This year, 5 octogenarians entered the USA Track and Field 100-mile road championships held in Henderson, Nevada. Now, they're part of the Jackpot Ultra races that are down there on March 3rd and 4th of this year. 4 of them finished in the field of 44 athletes, including the winner of the 80 to 84 age group, 80-year-old David Blaylock of Draper, Utah, and he finished 100 miles. Now, he's 80 years old, okay? He finished 100 miles in 29 hours, 49 minutes, and 29 seconds. That's incredible. And roughly 45 minutes off the existing age group record. So he beat the record by 45 minutes. Bravo. Bravo, David. The oldest female participant in that race was 70-year-old Kit Brazier of Carlsbad, California. And there was also 3 women in their 60s finishing that race. Yolanda Holder of Corona, California, 64, Louise Mason of Chicago at 69, and Yen Wen of Houston at 60. Older runners are definitely a part of running, and they will continue to be a part of running as we get older, as we live longer, as we are healthier, and as running is just a part of our lives. We're not going to give it up. If you want to keep running throughout your life, there are a few guidelines that help to make it a smooth process. Start your run slowly. It's always good to walk a few minutes before you start running, or at least start running very slowly. Or you could call it the J word, the jogging word. I don't like to use that word, but you can start doing that if you want to call it that. Do that for like 5 minutes or walk for 5 minutes before you start run, just to get your heartbeat up, your legs in gear, and everything warmed up before you actually start to run. Take more easy days. If you ran when you were younger, you might have had a lot of harder running days. A lot of workout days where you did a lot of sprints, you did a lot of intervals, you did a lot of tempos. But now it's time to take more easy days. So maybe do 1 hard day a week instead of 2 or 3. Do 1 hard day, the rest easy days. Do the 80-20 or do the 90-10. That's fine. It's no problem. It's just better to do more easy times than hard times. Build up over months, not weeks. It's all about slower progress. You will make progress, but you can't hurry it like you used to when you were younger. It just takes more time. Stop comparing yourself to your younger self. That's really important. You can't compare yourself to how you were 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's not the same. And most importantly, revel in the fact that you're still running. You're out there. You're doing it. You're doing the sport that you love. You're doing the sport that you chose to do. Probably the most fun thing you do in your life is what you're doing. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that fun? I think it's the most fun thing in the world, personally. As we come to grip with the fact that we are slowing down physically, we must remember that we are not slowing down cognitively. As such, it's important to put our brains to good use and continue to train the mind. One simple way to do this is to remain positive, optimistic, and hopeful. It's not just about running, it's about life. Celebrate. Celebrate every time you go for a run. Be happy you're running. Now, if you line up at an ultra race, you'll see lots of other older runners. There might even be an even number of younger and older runners. I think that's pretty cool. I know I'm saying the word cool a lot, but it really is. I love this episode. I've been looking forward to doing this episode for a long time, and I just think it's fun. I think it's great that there are so many of us who are not spring chickens. We may think we are, in our minds we are, but yeah, not so much. Whether you're a road runner, a trail runner, or whether you like to go the really, really long distances, there are ways we can keep doing the sport we so love. Benefits. Now, here are some of the benefits of running after 60. Running beyond the age of 60 isn't just a physical endeavor. It's an investment in your well-being that pays dividends in ways that extend far beyond the pavement or trail. Cardiovascular health. Running engages the heart, pumping life-giving oxygen into muscles and organs. For individuals over 60, maintaining cardiovascular health is paramount, as it reduces the risk of heart disease, lowers blood pressure, and improves overall circulation. A strong heart lays the foundation for an active and independent lifestyle. Ain't that the truth? It sure is. Muscle strength and bone density. Running involves multiple muscle groups, effectively contributing to the preservation of muscle mass and bone density. This is particularly crucial as aging often brings the risk of muscle loss and osteoporosis. Running helps counteract these effects, contributing to stronger bones and a more resilient body. Weight management. Now, I can attest to this one. The natural slowdown in metabolism that accompanies aging can lead to weight gain. Running provides an effective tool for weight management, helping to burn calories and maintain a healthy body composition. It is nearly impossible to lose weight at an older age if you don't do some form of aerobic activity. You can try to cut back on your eating. You can do this fasting, starvation, if you want. You can cut out food groups if you want. You can do all that fun stuff. But if you're not out there working out, and I mean hard working out, not just a nice little gentle yoga or stroll, no, that's not going to cut it. You got to work out hard. You got to do some running, or if you want to walk, you better be walking up really steep hills and walking for hours, because you're not going to make up enough of a calorie burn, get any kind of weight loss. If you're going to bike, you got to bike ride hard. It's hard work losing weight when you're older. It's really, really hard. But once you start running, it actually is a little easier. It really is. Of course, your hunger goes up, but that's okay. You can eat better foods and fill yourself up and still lose weight. It's true. Stress reduction. Running triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals. These endorphins contribute to a reduction in stress, anxiety, depression, promoting a more positive outlook on life. This is so true. Cognitive function. Engaging in regular aerobic exercise, such as running, has been linked to improved cognitive function and a decreased risk of cognitive decline. Running stimulates blood flow to the brain, enhancing memory, focus, and problem-solving abilities. Enhanced mood. The sense of accomplishment that comes from completing a run, no matter the distance, can lead to a heightened sense of self-worth and happiness. Running provides an opportunity to set and achieve goals, fostering a sense of purpose. Community and camaraderie. Running doesn't have to be a social pursuit. It's great. I love running alone. But there's also a thriving community of senior runners who come together to share their passion. Join local running clubs or participate in group events can provide a sense of belonging and camaraderie. I mean, volunteer at trail races, volunteer at ultra races, and you'll become instant friends with people. You really will. And you'll find other people. And not just older people. I mean, who wants to just be friends with older people? You'll be friends with older and younger runners, all kinds of runners. Runners of all ages, all kinds of different people. It's fun. Now, here are some considerations before you start. Been thinking about running and you want to start running, you got to think about this first. Consultation with a healthcare professional. I urge you to do this. It is advisable to consult with a healthcare professional before beginning any new exercise regimen, especially if you have a pre-existing health conditions or concerns, like if you have, heart concerns, if you have diabetes, if you are overweight, if you have different things like that. I would strongly urge to talk to a medical professional first. They can assess your health and provide insights and help you with anything you do. But do talk to somebody who understands running or understands sports in general. Don't talk to someone who says, well, just don't run. Don't do that. No. Don't talk to them. They won't get us. And here's a few common considerations. Arthritis and joint health. If you have arthritis, consider running on softer surfaces like trails, or make sure that you have minimal shoes. Might not help you very much. Use shoes with cushions on them. Running will not make the arthritis worse. It may hurt and feel like it's worse, but it's not going to make it worse. I mean, I ran with arthritis and it hurt like heck. Oh my God, it hurt. It hurt really bad, but I finished it and it didn't hurt my arthritis anymore. It just felt like it did. I would suggest, though, if you have arthritic hips and you have the financial ability and the time off, and you can take the time off from work, and your doctor says it's time for you to get them replaced one at a time. It's worth it. It's really, really worth it, and you will not regret doing it. I am a new person. I really am. But there are other things you can do. Talk to your doctor about them. Find out what you can do. There are things that you can do to make your arthritis not as bad as it is. It's a new world of medicine, trust me. Osteoporosis. Incorporate weight-bearing exercises like running to promote bone health. Remember that high-impact movements can help to build bones, but we want to undertake them with proper precautions. Heart health. Individuals with heart conditions should work with their healthcare provider to establish safe heart rate zones and exercise intensities. Standard heart rate zones may not be the best fits, so get to understanding of what's okay for you. Past injuries. Assess any current or past injuries that might start out as limitations. Work with a physical therapist to start those areas. Realistic goal setting. Now, this applies to all runners, but let's be honest. As we age, it's sometimes hard not to look back and think, I used to be able to do this and that. And maybe you're not going to be able to do that anymore. Maybe you're a lot slower. Maybe you don't have the endurance. Maybe you will have the endurance and be able to do the distances that you could do, but maybe the time is going to be a lot slower than it used to be. And that's okay. That's fine. And maybe you just don't want to do those distances anymore. Or maybe you're like me and you've never gone as far as let's say 100 miles, but you want to do 100 miles. So you have to push yourself a little harder and might take you a little longer to get there. So you have to take that into consideration. It's essential to set realistic goals that match your current fitness level. Begin, of course, with shorter distances and slower paces that allow your body to adapt gradually. Nothing is going to be quick. There's no quick fix. It's not a fast thing. You got to take your time with these things. You have to go slower. I mean, it's a slow process. It might be frustrating, and you may want to have it done fast, but nothing is going to be fast in this. Spend more time warming up. And yes, sometimes when you were younger, we want to cheat that time and we don't want to warm up. We don't want to spend the time doing that. We think, oh my gosh, I only have time to fit in a run. I don't have time for the warm up. I don't have time for this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but you're going to have to spend that time warming up, because that time warming up is going to keep your legs fresh. It's going to keep your body in good shape, and it's going to keep you from getting injured. Always begin with the warm up. That includes dynamic stretches and light aerobic exercises. Try leg swings and lunges. I've got a few episodes on that you can check out. And I'll probably do one more episode on beginning running, because it's been like 3 years and I want to go over a few things and maybe look at them in a different way than I did before. It's been a while and there's been some updates, so I might do that. But anyway, you want to prepare your muscles and joints for the upcoming activity, and you want your heart rate up a little bit so it isn't quite in shock when you start running. And walk, as I already said, walk for 5 or 10 minutes at least, so it isn't quite a shock to your system. Now find an entry-level progressive plan and follow it. Now initially, I like to focus on time rather than distance. I aim for doing 20 to 30 minutes of continuous activity, and I'll start by running with doing 1 minute running, 5 minutes walking, and I'll do maybe 6 sets of those. And if that feels good, then the next week I'll do 1 minute running, 4 minutes walking, and I'll keep cutting back on the walking and keep cutting back and keep cutting back. And then I'll eventually get into running straight and only taking walking breaks when I am out of breath or feel like I need to. And that has worked pretty well for me. That was what my physical therapist gave to me, and I liked that a lot. And that's what I would give to beginning runners. And that's what I would say that beginning runners should use. But really, if you can find another one like Couch to 5K is a really nice plan. They do something similar like that, so I would suggest that. But anyone you do, definitely follow it, dedicate yourself to it, make time for it. It's important that you do, and it's like anything else. If you need to be able to get good at something, you need to do it continually. Strength training. It's really important to do strength training. If you've listened to my podcast at any length of time, you know how much I believe in strength training. It's super important as you get older to do strength training as a runner, because we lose muscle mass so quickly. It begins at age 30. We begin losing muscle at age 30, and that just goes up exponentially as we get older. Strength training helps maintain muscle mass, improve bone density, enhance joint stability, and prevents age-related muscle loss. It just is good overall for everything. There's no downside to strength training. But except do strength training that is good for runners. You don't have to do bodybuilding stuff. Just do strength training geared towards running. And I have a few different episodes on that. So, go ahead and look at those, and I'll try to put the episode numbers in the website that you can look at. Work on balance and flexibility. Maintain good balance and flexibility is paramount for older athletes, and it directly influences movement efficiency, reduce risk of falls, and supports overall mobility. And I have a whole episode on balance that you can check out. Working at the clinic that I work in, I get a lot of calls from seniors who fall, and I know that they haven't practiced balancing and mobility. So this is something that we can help ourselves so we don't have those awful falls that can just hurt seniors so much. Plan for recovery. Now, this is really super important. It's as important as the workout. Recovery is actually where our muscles are built up and our strength is built in recovery. It isn't built out when we're running. One of the things that changes with age is our ability to recover. That means it's up to us to make smart choices so that our muscles are better able to repair after each session. So it's really important to take that time off. That's why I'm not a believer in streaking. I really believe that we need to take that time off. But to each his own. If you like to do it, that's you. But I do not. Get consistent with refueling within 30 minutes of a workout. Take your rest days. Plan for more time between harder workouts or longer runs. These are things. Now, here's another one. Even though I'm saying to take more easy days, don't be afraid to push hard. On the flip side of taking enough recovery is also letting go of the fear to push hard. That's an idea that we need to take it easy, but we don't always have to take it easy. You can do a hard day, or on your long runs, go long. I mean, try to run up that hill. Do 1 day of hill repeats. That's not going to hurt you. That's going to help. I'm just saying, just don't do 3 days of hill repeats. Do 1 day that you do hill repeats, and that will really, really help you. Just make sure that after the day of hill repeats, you take a day off, because your body's going to need the recovery after that. And here's one more very cool thing to add. In a study this past July in 2023, the Journal of Strength and Conditioning, researchers looked at the habits of 1,345 ultramarathoners. While it is known that ultramarathon participation is on a rapid ascent in recent years, there was a 22% increase just from 2011 to 2012. Very little is known about ultramarathoners themselves and their training habits. Age is one of the many factors the researchers considered. The average age to run an ultra for the first time was 36, which has held fast for decades. The second most common age to do an ultra for the first time was 40, and the average participant was 43. Over 10% of the participants were over 50 years old when they ran their first race. That means ultramarathons are not a young person's sport. 37.7% of the participants are women. A majority of the participants, 87.7%, are American, with the rest coming from Europe and Canada. On average, the athletes have been running for 16 years. They began running regularly in their late 20s, but not necessarily competing. However, 25% of the participants had only been running for 3 years or less before their first ultra. Inexperience could account for some of the injuries seen, but this data also indicates that the sport is safely and commonly started relatively late in life compared to other sports. Runners averaged 40 miles of running per week. This volume didn't show a significant decline with age, nor was it any different between men and women. Training intensity, surface, and race frequency varied, but the researchers did note some trends. 61.9% of the runners' training time was spent at a moderate intensity, meaning enough to break a sweat in 10 minutes, which would be about race pace. But half of the time was spent on a trail, with another 42.5% spent on concrete or asphalt. On average, the runners did 3 marathons or shorter races and 3 ultras in a prior year. Up to 70% of runners will become injured every year and lose at least 1 day of training. Racing is just as injurious. For every 1,000 hours of ultramarathon racing, there are anywhere from 20 to 65 injuries. Older and more experienced runners are injured less often. Sometimes the difference is significant, as this study indicates. In it, the authors found that for every 10 years of increasing age, ultrarunners were 50% less likely to get injured during an ultra marathon. Why is that, they ask? Experienced athletes have more lifetime miles. Training volume matters. Experienced runners generally have a larger lifetime volume of training time and miles. When you have a robust training history, your periods of peak volume are not as anomalous. You've been there, done that, and your body knows how to cope with that stress. Younger athletes have greater capacity for harm. Younger runners tend to start races faster, take more chances, don't warm up as they should, and perhaps start out as new runners doing too much too soon. So there's a lot of information in this episode, I realize. But we can narrow it down to this. Take a few precautions, a little bit more time warming up and cooling down, run easy, but a little hard, and with some rest time, and rejoice in the fact that you're still running. Good on ya! All right, now, I hope you enjoyed this episode, because I did. This was fun. I like this. It's all about talking about us. Keep on running into that golden sunset in the distance. And with that, the website is martharunstheworld.com. If you want to email me, it's martharunstheworld@gmail.com. And until next week, let's tie up our shoelaces and go for a run.